Steve, with a father as a jockey, there was always every chance you were going to end up in the saddle yourself.
Yes, you would think that. You know, he was a jumps jockey and never wanted me to get involved, but because of my size and when I got near the horses, I seemed to be attracted to them, so got involved with it and went on to become an apprentice and then a jockey and now a trainer.
1970, you started your apprenticeship back at Flemington, was it, with Jim Surkey?
Yeah, I was apprenticed to Jim Surkey. I did 5 years with him and then another 12 months with Pat Burke at Flemington before I finished my time and went out to become a fully fledged jockey. And I rode with a good bit of success as an apprentice, and it followed on with quite successful as a jockey. Never a leading jockey, but always sort of worked hard, and I rode quite a few winners.
Well, your strike rate was pretty outstanding. I think you had over 10,000 rides for over 1,000 winners. You'd have to be happy with that sort of strike rate these days.
Yeah, I was. I did a lot of travelling to get those rides and to have that success. I sort of wasn't just based in Melbourne. I did a lot of riding in the country and overseas, so it all mounted up over a period of time.
When you left Australia, you went on to ride in Macau, Malaysia. What sort of experience was that?
Yes, well, I came up to ride in Singapore and Malaysia when I was back in about 86, 87. Did a couple of circuits and I sort of likened to it. And then I got the offer to go to Macau when they started racing. And I did 5 years riding there and had a bit of success there. I think I rode the first Macau Gold Cup winner, which was great. And then I decided to come back here because the trainer I was buying and selling horses with, Claude Charlet, decided to come over here to train, and I was getting a bit heavy at the time and getting a bit older, so I thought, well, a bit hard to go back to Australia and start riding again when you've been away for that long. I'll give it a try and come over here to be his assistant, which I did for a couple of years. And then after that he went back to Macau, but I elected to stay on and be with Michael Kent, who was from Melbourne, and I did a couple of years with him, and I got introduced through Gerald Ryan to a man up in Malaysia, and I went up there and trained up there for about 8 years, not officially, but I was like an assistant but doing the training, and had a good bit of success up there until I decided I'd had enough of, I thought, Asia at the time, and I thought I would go back to Australia, and John Sadler got in touch with me because John was actually best man at my first wedding, and I rode for John in Melbourne quite a bit, and he asked me if I would come and help him because he was coming back from Dubai. So I brought 8 horses back with me to sort of set up and work for him and be his assistant, and he was here a month and he decided not to stay. He decided to go back, which was probably the best thing that could have happened, in the future, as it's worked out, because with him leaving, it left an opening for another trainer to come, and because of just political reasons, there was the previous secretary to the man that's here now wouldn't allow ex-jockeys to become assistant trainers and become trainers. He happened to leave, and Peter Chua took over, and he sat down with Brian Dean and myself, and it was actually Trevor Bailey, and decided to give us all a licence pretty well straight away to change the rules. And I've got my licence within another 3 months, and away we went.
So that was around 2005, I think, when you got your licence here?
Yep, it was about 2005.
And then you hit the ground running pretty quickly. In 2006, you won the Group 2 QE2 Cup, right in front of Her Majesty.
Yeah, I won it twice, once with Trigger Express, and then the second time I won it when the Queen was here with King and King, which was a very good horse and was like an omen sort of thing with her being here and him being King and King and winning the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. So it was great. My wife was there, and my son, who is in bloodstock now, so it was quite a family concern.
Be quite a buzz, I imagine, to get up there with Her Majesty. I know she's such a horse lover. What she had to say to you?
Yeah, she was sort of pretty quiet. She's getting on a bit, but she congratulated us on winning, and also wanted to know why the horse was called King and King, and how nice it was that the horse came out and won the race on her behalf. So it's she was had quite a bit of a chat with my wife and myself over it, and we can look back now and have a bit of a laugh about it.
2007, things just kept rolling on beautifully for you. World Delight in the 3 rings, Trigger Express, and King again saluted in the QE2.
Yeah, you know, sort of after the first couple of years, I found it pretty hard, you know, to sort of break into it. But then I did have a good bit of luck with a few of those horses, and I must be very thankful of the owners that, you know, were supporting me at the time, because those horses helped me kick on a bit. And luckily, you know, things have progressed, you know, further and further as I've gone along.
Things did get better, because in 2010 you were your champion trainer, and a horse called Risky Business came along to win the Group 1 for you.
Yeah, that was look back now, it was a sensational year. Like I went from being 6th or 7th on the premiership for the previous couple of years to sort of going out, and after a quiet start I just went bang, 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 and just had doubles and trebles, and you know, I finished up winning the premiership by 20 winners, which was extraordinary. You know, I look back now and think, you know, how did that happen? But the luck just kept coming, and I just kept getting new horses, mainly through my son, you know, buying new bloodstock for me, and just the owners supporting me, you know, the big owners here, and even the little owners. I was very lucky. I sort of got into getting a lot of the main owners here to support me, and it was just a phenomenal year. And then to turn around, and I didn't actually win a big race all year until the last main race of the year, the Singapore Gold Cup, and the horse Risky Business came out and won that, and Glenn Boss came up and rode it. We'd sort of set him for the race, and on the day of the race it poured with rain, which we were laughing coming into the race because he loved the wet, and a great ride by Glenn. He, you know, came from second last and never left the fence, and the horse came out and won the cup by 2 or 3 lengths at the finish. So it just capped off a great year.
I think if I remember too, we got a typical Bossy salute past the post, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it was a $1,000 fine here. I think the other day he got suspended in Melbourne. I think it was I'm not sure how much it was a $5,000 fine or something, but yeah, no, it was one of Bossy's salutes. Yeah, he does tend to express himself quite well.
It's funny when you get on those waves, things just keep rolling along, and then 2011 along came Speed Baby and Captain Obvious to fly the flag for you.
Yeah, I was very lucky. By being in Malaysia, I got connections with a couple of trainers there and a couple of owners, and luckily enough, a couple of good horses the owners decided to send down, and through recommendations of the trainers who I'd been involved with, they suggested for me to get the horse, and even the jockey, Azahar, had done a good bit of riding for me, and I think he helped push the horse that way for me, Speed Baby. And Captain Obvious, well, I think the owner and also the trainer, KL Chong, who I knew, he decided to send the horse down for me. And yeah, 2 great horses, you know, to come from the 2 best horses to come from Malaysia and get hold of them, and to be able to go on and win Group 1 races. And also, like Captain Obvious, we took him to Dubai last year and he was able to win over there, and he's come back and won again the other day. It was great because they were both very special horses to me.
Being an ex-jockey, do you find yourself being very critical of rides these days?
Well, I probably can read the race probably pretty good, and you do tend to be grandstand jockeys a little bit, but I can probably find faults. But then again, I do think I can read the races and see where, you know, maybe they should have done something different, and maybe a little bit critical, but I can sort of forgive the jockeys to some degree because it's sometimes a bit different when you get out there.
Who do you rate as one of the better jockeys you've seen?
Well, when I was riding, I would say, you know, Higo was probably the best jockey that I rode against and rode with. But since we've been up here, we've had some really good jockeys here. You know, we've had Brad Jurick's been up here and done a lot of riding for me. Stevie Bass has been riding a lot for me. Joao Moreira, I've had a great, you know, good bit of success with, and he would probably be, you know, one of the best in the last 4 or 5 years. Even Noel Kello. I mean, Kello, you know, King Kello, he's killing him still now. He's not here, but when he was here, he was killing him. And but Moreira is a very good jockey and a great down-to-earth sort of guy, which most of the jockeys are. But for a man that's had this, you know, the success that he's had in the last few years, he still texts you every Monday morning, wanting to know whether you've got a ride for him. Which I think, for the position he's in, it's great that he's able to sort of do that, and he rides for everybody, you know. So yeah, he's a very good jockey, and he should become a better jockey with a bit more international experience.
You've had a lot of very good horses come through the door here. Can you isolate it into one that really is close to you or you have an affinity with?
Probably, I would say Captain Obvious.
Captain Obvious clear of Speed Baby, Merchant keep away, Best Night, Waikato down the outside, Captain Obvious in front, Speed Baby coming in him late, Captain Obvious, Speed Baby, Captain Obvious.
Even though I got him after he'd won 10 races, and King, I suppose meeting the Queen was a big thing, and I never thought that at the time, but I look back now, I'd say they're probably the two best horses I could say that really I got a great feeling, and a great kick out of winning the races with them.
You won the Golden Horseshoe with Pit Stop in 2012. That must have given you a great thrill, particularly being such a family affair.
Yeah, we sort of bought the horse at the sale and sold him to an owner, and he hasn't gone on to any great heights since that, but we knew he was a sprinter, and he came out and he ran second his first start, and that was the race we had in mind, and he had all the breaks. He drew a good barrier and never left the fence, and got a run right through, and yeah, it was a great kick. Wade bought him, and so it was really a bit of a thrill for him and a thrill for me, because the owner ended up getting a good bit of money out of it with the bonus that goes on with the Magic Million race, and that race in general, I think, was 300,000 plus he got all the bonuses. So for a horse to win a race worth 450,000 for a 2-year-old, it was a great race to win, and as you say, it was a great family concern with the wife and son involved.
Well, you're a very complete stable really, because both you and Wade have got great eyes for bloodstock, and your wife Julie rides work. Yeah,
and I think I've got great staff all round. There's a lot of the staff have been with me from the outset, and without good staff and good owners, you're nothing. So I'm very grateful for the staff I have got, and I've got Jackie Harrison here now. She's come over from Stephen Gray, and she's a great help. And the three Mandors, they're really being very good and very supportive, and I think we're a great team.
It's a big operation. You probably don't get a lot of spare time, but if you do, what do you like to do with yourself?
Yeah, probably don't get a lot of spare time because of myself. I tend to sort of spend a lot of time here, but yeah, I like a bit of golf, which I don't play much, but just being with the horses in general. I do love being with them and trying to find out more about them, trying to find out their little techniques, and what's making them click or what's not making them click, to try and find out what will turn them on.
Not very often there's not a good up-and-comer in the Burridge yard. What's one we might be able to keep an eye out for in the future?
Well, it's hard to say. I've got a lot of young ones. I've got about 20 2-year-olds. I've got another 5 coming next month, so a lot of 2-year-olds there. So they're a bit hard to sort of pick out really, but I've got a nice one there by Bletchley Park I really like, and I'm hoping that he might sort of be able to go on and be ready for the early 2-year-old races.
Brian, like many trainers, you started your career as a jockey.
Yeah, started off back in Melbourne. I got a place at Bendigo. I was an apprentice of my father, and eventually one time I was going on a holiday actually, and we'd built a new house, and we got the carpet, and we won. The first prize was $5,000, and I thought this is good, but the prize was to go overseas. So I went to Hong Kong and here, and eventually after that I was offered to come over here and ride.
But back to when you first started out, you were pretty good at it. 626 winners and 21 country cups.
Yeah, well, it was okay, enough to keep the family happy.
You found your way to Singapore riding via Malaysia, and you had some good luck, and as a track rider before you became foreman for Laurie Laxon. Yes,
that was, the rules were here that because you haven't trained overseas, you sort of weren't told to get the trainer's licence, which is good, but I started off, and I've been here quite a while and just progressed on.
What was Laurie like to work for?
Yeah, he was good, never a dull moment, but it was good.
As a former jockey, do you find yourself being critical of jockeys these days who ride your horses?
Yeah, probably because I've been here and you know the jockey styles, quite easy to pick them up, but it has got its pluses too, because to me certain jockeys suit certain horses, and it's been more pluses than minuses.
Been some pretty good riders here. Who do you rate as the top of the tree?
Yeah, there's been quite a few, good riders come over, like throughout, but naturally at the moment, like Joe's can't do any more, like Noel Callow, those fellas, they hold their own no matter where they go.
Well, back to 2004, you're licensed here, 34 stables, nearly 10 years on. You must have seen a lot of changes in the racing industry here.
Oh, there's been a lot of changes, and necessarily rules, but they've progressed to what we've got today, and the facilities are as good as you can get anywhere.
They are great facilities. You seem to have everything here at your beck and call, and only racing here 2 days a week. It must be quite a nice lifestyle.
Well, it is, and you don't have to worry about finishing late on a Friday night, But no, it's quite good, and for the families, and to live here, the lifestyle's very good.
Would you say it's a well-kept secret, Singapore racing? I mean, the prize money is outstanding, and there's this great opportunity, particularly for owners.
Yeah, there is, because I don't think a lot of people realise how good the stake money is, and for the cost of getting a horse trained here, and the facilities. And you go to the yearling sales, which we've been going to, and there's been quite a few, the bigger studs made interest, but they're sort of missing the boat. But hopefully that they'll see how good it is and start sending horses over.
Back to 2007, you won the Group 2 with World Airlines. That must have been a pretty big thrill for you.
Well, it was. He was a horse that had, the first horse that had like the surgery here for the stem cells. Had a bad tendon, and that's probably why I ended up getting him, but just to get him back to the races and to win the Group 2 was a big bonus.
Another one of your success stories here was 195.
Yeah, he was a great horse. We bought him from Adelaide for Magic Millions, and we only paid $20,000 for him, and he ended up winning the Group 3, so very happy.
And a nice new exciting 3-year-old on the prospect on the horizon here with Jackpot.
And they've broken away from Invincible Dragon. Carbon Diamond's getting home okay, and then Golden Chalice. But here goes Jackpot now. 200 metres to go, and he sailed past Jonathan very swiftly indeed. And it's going to be a big win here. Jackpot's coming right away from Jonathan, Invincible Dragon, Carbon Diamond, 2 for Joe. And that brings up win number 150 for him.
Yeah, he has, which wife owns. She picked him out at the sale, and he's done quite well. He's has one trial. He'll probably race next week.
Is it getting tougher to find the good horses to bring here?
Well, it is. The sort of Hong Kong market spoils us a bit because they pay good money for them and get the better horse. But the colts are, like to get the good colts, it's getting harder.
I guess one of the upsides though versus Hong Kong is there's no limitation for foreign ownership.
Yes, true. Yeah, that's the thing here, and I've got quite a few horses owned. Actually, I've got Hong Kong owners, and mostly like in Australia and a few from New Zealand as well.
You've been here a while now. You obviously love Singapore. What do you like to do with yourself in your spare time?
Oh well, not that we get that much spare time because we're always at the stable and that. But like of a Saturday, I've got nothing to do. We sort of go into one of the local bars and watch the Australian racing. And have a few beers with the friends. It's quite good.
And for someone who might be thinking about racing a horse up here, what would you say to them?
Well, same thing. You've just first make contact and find out what the prices are, and we can tell them, and then they can decide. But I think they'll be surprised at how good it is and to race horses here for the amount of stake money.